Happy Friday, Jayhawks, and welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. I'm your host, Lexi, and we are officially less than 1 month away from summer break. I just wrapped up some of my last rounds of exams before finals, so I'm currently enjoying a brief moment of peace before the craziness really kicks in. Regardless of your stress level with school right now, try to enjoy these next few days off. The warm weather is taking a bit of a break, so be sure to dress for cooler temperatures. Josie will be back this week after taking a trip to Daytona Beach to support the Rock Chalk dancers at Nationals, so he will give us more weather updates at the end of the show. Before I preview our sports lineup for today, we will be inviting two special guests later in the show, KU senior Emily Sutter and Grace Johnson. Summer and Sophia will sit down with them to talk about their KU experiences, any tips they have for current students, and their post-college plans. Now on to our lineup for today. To start us off, Sophia will take us through a preview of the NHL playoffs, breaking down what fans can expect as postseason hockey gets underway. Later, Emil brings us to the latest in Jayhawk sports, keeping us up to date on everything happening here on campus. Brandon will follow that with a closer look at the Big 12 baseball standings as conference play continues. He will also close out our sports segments for the day with information on the upcoming NFL draft. Finally, Josie will catch us up on the recent weather and what to expect this weekend and into next week. We got a lot to get through, so let's go ahead and toss it over to Sophia to get us started with a preview of the NHL playoffs.
Thanks, Lexi, and good morning, Jayhawks. The road to the Stanley Cup officially begins this weekend. 16 teams are in, and only one will lift hockey's greatest trophy. The 2026 NHL Stanley Cup playoffs drop the puck tomorrow, and for the first time in 3 years, there will be a new champion after the defending Florida Panthers have missed the postseason. Playoff action starts Saturday afternoon in Carolina. On Sunday, there will be 4 more series, and the final first-round series is on Monday night when the Oilers meet the Anaheim Ducks in the Pacific Division Clash. This year's playoff field feels wide open. Without the two-time champion Panthers, no clear favorite has emerged. Fans and analysts have also criticized the NHL playoff format, arguing that strong division rivals are forced to eliminate each other too early. This includes the Stars and Wild, which are two of the league's top teams that are meeting in round 1. Teams like the Colorado Avalanche and Tampa Bay Lightning headline the contenders, but several surprise teams have forced their way into the conversation. Teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins and Buffalo Sabres enter the postseason after exceeding preseason expectations. The question now, are they truly contenders or Cinderella stories nearing midnight? Some top contenders to watch for include the Carolina, who many in the league believe could be the team to beat in the Eastern Conference, and others point to Tampa Bay's star power led by Nikita Kucherov. But as always, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, every team has a weakness, and the champion is the one who survives the 4 grueling rounds. And as we know, the Stanley Cup playoffs bring a different style of hockey. Games become faster and more physical, also have a lot tighter defense, and depth scoring, goaltending, and health often matter much more in regular season records. Each team enters with a flaw, and the champion will be the one that manages to overcome it. Game 1 action begins tomorrow afternoon, and hockey's most unpredictable tournament is officially underway. Now we're going to go to Summer, who's interviewing a fellow Jayhawk in journalism who's about to graduate.
Thank you, Sophia, and good morning, Jayhawks. Today I'm joined by sports media student Emily Sutter, who is graduating senior this year. Emily has worked with Playmakers, CBS Sports, and Her Sports in Omaha during her time in college and is focused on broadcast journalism, sideline reporting, and social media in the sports industry. Thank you so much for joining us today, Emily. You've been incredibly busy this year. Recently, you received first place at the 2025 KAB Awards, so congratulations on that. I now would like to go on and talk about the achievements that you earned since your time here. So let's start at the beginning. What initially drew you to broadcast journalism in the sports industry, and what was your first experience working with KU?
Yeah, so originally, actually in high school, I did the morning announcements for our student council. And so it was kind of funny. That is what originally drew me to like journalism in general. I kind of came into KU thinking I wanted to do just general communications. But once I was part of the journalism school, I was a part of Good Morning KU and Good Evening KU. And so when I was on those shows, I was like, oh, I think I'm actually kind of good at this, and I actually kind of like this. So that's kind of what got me into broadcast journalism specifically. My sophomore year is when the sports concentration officially opened. So I grew up playing sports. I played basketball. I was a diver. My dad is a football referee. And so that's kind of, been something that him and I have been able to kind of share throughout my life. And so when the sports concentration opened, I said, well, great, awesome. I love sports. I love talking about sports. So might as well kind of just jump into this and explore and see what it's like. So I'm really happy that I was kind of one of the first students that was able to get into that specific concentration and kind of start the program that we have now. So super cool.
Yeah, and you certainly are good at it. And I'm sure you made a ton of unforgettable memories at your time at KU here. If you can pinpoint a few, what have been the most memorable over your 4 years?
Oh man, too many to count. Gosh, I think one of my favorite memories that comes to mind happens to be sports related, of course. I wasn't much of a basketball camper my first year, but I was like, I'm kind of tired of just sitting in the back in Allen Fieldhouse. I got to get this going. So I got my friends and my sorority together, and I was like, let's do a camping group. We got a camping group together. First time camping, it was KU UConn game, and we pulled number 2. So yeah, it just was absolutely unreal. So we were literally in the front row for the KU UConn game. There's this picture that I use for like all of my, like if I need a profile picture for anything, it's me in a KU basketball uniform. And that was the UConn game. It just literally was the peak of my life. So that was a really great memory. Kind of, again, kickstarted my love for going to the games and doing all that stuff. But definitely as the years have gone on through Playmakers and journalism stuff, being able to go and actually report and, kind of do social media sideline stuff has been really, really fun. There's just nothing like being in Allen Fieldhouse or even in the booth for the games. So truly just some of the best memories, just getting to be a student and covering it too. So super fun.
Amazing. I'm sure you're aware the sports industry has obviously become very popular within the past few years. And you're a really talented on-air personality. Everybody loves to watch you.
Oh, thanks.
Is there any words of advice that you would give aspiring sports industry students?
Yes. Don't beat yourself up. Don't put pressure on yourself if you are here in March, April, May, and you're not entirely sure of what's next to come. Because even for me, I have some ideas and things that I've got going on in my head, but this industry is hard and it's hard to find jobs. And don't beat yourself up. I know there's kind of an expectation of, oh, I'm going to have a job right out of college, or, I'm going to be at this large company doing this amazing thing. That's great, but this industry will take time, and that's something that I've kind of learned, applying for jobs and kind of knowing that I'm going to be entering the industry. But also don't sacrifice what you want to do for just a job in general. I love production. I produced this show my sophomore year, and I loved it, and so that kind of started my interest in production. But lifelong down the road, I want to be a sideline reporter. So I've kind of had to recognize, okay, if that's my passion, if that's what I want to do, then I'm just going to go for it. So definitely don't beat yourself up, but don't be afraid to work hard and take any opportunity that's given to you. I'm interning at WIBW this semester, just in their, in their sports department, figuring out what production is like. So take everything that comes to you, but also don't beat yourself up if you don't know what you have. You have plenty of time to figure it out.
Yeah, I think we're all curious what is next for you after graduation.
Yes, the big question. So currently right now, do I have a job lined up? No, but I am thinking about going back to Omaha to work for the digital media company that I worked for, GMKUSports. I am probably going to go work for them and do the World Series this summer again, which will be super duper fun. So I'm looking forward to that. This industry is kind of late. A lot of the jobs open in, the spring and then into the summer. A lot of jobs are turning over too. So I'm definitely just kind of continuing to apply for things. But my option right now is probably to go back to Omaha and work for GMKUSports because it's a great company. I'll be able to kind of get more sideline reps in there. So that's kind of the hope right now. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, I know everybody, including myself, are so excited to see you take off and thrive. We're so inspired by your work, and you've definitely made a huge impact on the J School. So very good. Congratulations and good luck to you.
Thank you, Summer.
Yes. Stick with us through this short break, and we will be right back with Good Morning KU Sports.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Welcome back, Jayhawks. I'm Emil. This is your Jayhawk Sports Report. Diamond Sports have been on a roll. The KU baseball team is currently on an 11-game win streak right now with great wins over ranked teams, including Nebraska last Tuesday and a 3-game series sweep against the UCF Knights, who entered the series last week and ranked in the top 25. But after a 3-game series sweep and a 5-2 win against Wichita State on Tuesday, it's the Jayhawks who are now ranked 23rd best in the country, with a 27-10 overall record, a 12-3 Big 12 conference record, and a formidable 14-2 record inside a Hoagland ballpark. They begin their next series against Oklahoma State today at 2 p.m. The women's side is 29-13. They're third in the Big 12 conference after picking up a series win against Baylor last weekend, but a heartbreaking loss against Mizzou on Wednesday. The Jayhawks will look ahead to their next series against UCF in Orlando, with the first game of that series starting tonight at 5 p.m. Kansas Volleyball released their 26-27 schedule on Thursday. The Jayhawks begin their campaign with an exhibition match against Creighton on August 22nd. And then the season officially starts for them on August 28th and August 30th as they take on Pittsburgh and Stanford in the Open Spike Classic. Lastly, in some transfer news, we saw former 5-star recruit Bryson Tiller officially commit to the Mizzou Tigers on Thursday. The Tigers and Jayhawks are slated to face off in Kansas City this upcoming season, so that'll surely be an interesting one. Cole Rosario officially announced that he's staying with the Jayhawks on Monday, and Paul Mbia, who originally intended on entering the portal, still hasn't entered it, but people are thinking he wants to stay. I wouldn't be opposed to it. That's all I have for your weekly sports report. Up next is going to be Brandon talking all about some Big 12 baseball.
Thanks, Emil. Speaking of Jayhawk sports, look no further than Kansas baseball, who are one of the hottest teams in the country at the moment. The Jayhawks are in a battle of what looks to be a 3-team race for the top of the Big 12. This past week of Big 12 baseball, though, led to a big shift in the conference standings. Kansas is now the outright leader by 2 games with a 12-3 conference record after they have won 11 straight games, which included a 3-game series sweep against the UCF Knights, who at the time were ranked 12th in the country. The win streak has bumped the Jayhawks into the D1 baseball top 25 rankings at number 18. West Virginia sits at number 15 on the rankings and is currently tied with the Knights in second with a conference record of 10-5. UCF has dropped to 21st in the rankings after opening the week on top of the conference, but then losing 4 of its last 6 conference matchups. 2 games separate 6 teams in the middle of the pack, while 3 games separate the bottom 5 teams. Kansas is heading to Stillwater this weekend to face Oklahoma State in a 3-game series beginning on Friday, April 17th at 2 p.m. Central Time. The Cowboys have won their last 2 matchups and have proven to be a tough team at home with a 15-3 record. West Virginia will host Houston for 3 games in Morgantown. The Cougars will come in as the bottom seed in the conference, as well as on a 4-game losing streak, which is good news there for the Mountaineers, who have won their last 2 games. UCF looks to get back on track in a 3-game series against Cincinnati in Orlando. The Knights are one of the best home teams in the Big 12 with a 15-4 record in the Sunshine State. There is just over a month until the start of the Big 12 baseball tournament, but it is hard to look past Kansas at the moment with how hot they are playing. Nonetheless, there's a ton of baseball left to play. Be sure to keep up with the Big 12 every week to see which program will claim the 1 seed heading into the tournament. That's all I have for Big 12 updates. Coming up is Sophia, who's going to interview Grace Johnson, a graduating senior here from KU.
Thanks, Brandon. So today I'm joined here with graduating multimedia sports journalism senior Grace Johnson. Thank you so much for being here with us, Grace. So I know that you've accomplished a lot through your time at KU. That includes working as an employee for the University of Kansas Athletic Department as a video assistant for Rock Chalk Video. I know that you've also worked with the William Allen White School of Journalism here as a technical director, and that you've also assisted Fox 4 News with their production and broadcast systems. But I'm most interested in hearing from you. So you're from Missouri.
I am.
What kind of drew you here to University of Kansas when you're picking colleges? And then also when you arrived as a freshman, did you know that journalism was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I actually, this is kind of hard to say here in Lawrence, I actually was committed to MU. and it was for journalism. So I knew going in what I wanted to do, but being from Missouri, we always had our state competitions for Missouri in Columbia. And kind of just out of spite, I was petty. I didn't like that one tour I went on, and I applied here and ended up loving it, and kind of just out of pettiness was able to really find a good match for me.
There you go. Love it.
Pettiness works.
Yeah. So looking back on the past 4 years, how would you describe your growth from freshman year to now? And do you think that there's been specific challenges that you think have really shaped you the most?
Yeah, there have definitely been a lot of challenges. I would say kind of a big one is just coming in as a freshman and trying to work my way into all the things I knew I wanted to do. I started off as the sports concentration, and then kind of halfway through was like, you know what, maybe I am more interested in news, so kind of shifted over thinking I could do both. But a big challenge was just Rock Chalk Video. It's really hard to not go to any games as a fan. I've never been to a basketball game and been a fan. I've only ever worked them.
Yeah.
And I don't regret that because it's an absolutely amazing experience. I've learned a ton. But it is challenging to, say no to a lot of things because you have to work and you have to say yes to everything. That's a big piece of advice I'd say. Have your moments, have your friendships, but make sure you're here for a reason.
Experience. Yeah, for sure. That's super insightful. So now do you think, just again, looking back on KU, do you think there's a moment that you're most proud of, or an experience that you think really has fully encompassed your time here?
There's a lot of moments I'm proud of, but I'd say a moment that in 5 years I'll look back on and be like, I can't believe I got to experience that, was this last Arizona State game where Bill Self just went around the court.
Yeah.
Never seen that. I was up in the control room, and then we all got to go down on the court and just kind of take it all in. Yeah. So, those type of games are difficult in terms of the matchup on the behind the scenes, because a lot of energy, you want to be a fan and you can't. You gotta lock in, do your job, not get excited. So there's definitely been some times where I've been cheering and then I need to be unbiased. So that was definitely a moment I'll look back on. Yeah. I'm really excited I got to be there.
That game was amazing.
It really was.
Once in a lifetime. So kind of looking, I know we just looked at experiences, but do you think that there's something maybe besides journalism, just an experience at KU, just as a student, that you think has really stood out to you?
Gosh. I feel like everything I've done has kind of been centered around journalism, so it's kind of hard to find one that doesn't relate to it. But I'd say something that doesn't involve Fox, technical directing here, or Rock Chalk Video is just some of the classes we do here at the journalism school. I've just learned a lot from those, specifically 552, being able to turn a package really quick. I'm not interested in being on air at all. This is kind of out of my comfort zone. Thank you. But I really enjoyed learning how to do stand-ups, just in case. I like that the journalism school, they kind of just throw you into the fire, but then also lead you along, so you get to learn by experience, but also through resources.
Yeah. And so as graduation approaches, do you have any goals? Do you have jobs set up, or just kind of what you're looking forward towards for the future?
The goal is a job. Okay. That's the only goal. I have a lot lined up. I have a lot of prospects. None that have given me yeses, but yeah, I just have a lot I want to do in terms of related to Rock Chalk Video, kind of either going to a college and doing that, or joining a team, being a freelancer, something like that is kind of what I'm looking at the most, but also news. I'm all over the place.
Yeah. Okay, and then the final question. For incoming freshmen, and just looking back from when you were a freshman, do you think there's anything that you wish you'd known, anything you wish you had done differently?
Yeah, get into all this stuff as early as you can and take it seriously. I got into Rock Chalk Video and TDing here really, really soon, but specifically with TDing, I kind of let it fall on the back burner for a little bit and didn't join until my second semester. And being the technical director and just anything in the studio, it's a lot of tech. There's a lot of stuff you just kind of have to figure out. So I do wish I kind of jumped on that earlier. But my advice to anyone coming in is KU is great at letting you learn and fail. They're going to give you that chance again. Not a lot of colleges do that. So just don't be scared to say yes. Do everything you can. Go and meet people, make connections, and get close to your professors, because they're excellent recommendations and they just teach you a lot.
Oh, definitely. I would agree with that 100%. They are super helpful here.
Oh, they're amazing.
Well, I know that everyone here at the journalism school is excited for you and all the other graduating seniors this year. I know it's always sentimental to kind of reflect as your time is coming to a close.
It is.
So kind of just as you're looking forward, sorry, I said that was the last question.
Oh, no, you're good.
What do you think that you'll miss most about KU, or maybe just about this chapter in your life, maybe 10 years from now, 20 years from now?
I think I'll miss just all the stuff you get to do. One of the things I'm looking forward to about graduating is not having to have 3 jobs, to just have one. But I also think that's something I'll miss, like being able to have your foot in the door and wear a lot of different hats. I think I'll really miss. I get to be here and work with a whole other group of people I don't normally see versus a Rec Chuck video versus at Fox 4. So it's just, I'll really miss getting to be in so many different atmospheres and just kind of, getting to leave your mark on a lot of different spaces.
Definitely. Well, Grace, thank you so much. Congratulations again on all that you've accomplished. I know that we can't wait to see what you do in the future, making us Jayhawks proud. And we're going to stay tuned. You won't want to miss Brandon as he previews the NFL draft.
KU supports community, creativity, Kansas. The University of Kansas provides statewide medical outreach, first responder training, cybersecurity protection, childhood development support, and economic gains amounting to over $7 billion every year. Every day, Kansas Jayhawks serve the world by creating a better future. The world is safer, healthier, stronger because of what KU creates.
Welcome back. We are less than a week away from the 2026 NFL Draft, and this might be one of the most talented groups of prospects we've seen in years. The draft will be held in Pittsburgh and begin with round 1 on Thursday, April 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Rounds 2 and 3 will be on Friday, the 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and then on Saturday, rounds 4 through 7 will start at 12 p.m. Eastern Time and conclude the draft. The Las Vegas Raiders have been on the clock since the last season ended, and it has always been Fernando Mendoza as the presumed number 1 overall pick of the draft. The organization has brought in Tom Brady as a part of the staff and has made many moves throughout the offseason to surround Mendoza. The most notable was signing former Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum to the largest contract for a center in NFL history. This means that the real draft actually begins with the New York Jets at pick number 2. Many believe New York is between Texas Tech defensive end David Bailey and Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese. While the Jets are in need of many positions, improving their pass rush is certainly a focal point after they recorded the second fewest sacks in the NFL last season with 26. The Arizona Cardinals will follow at pick 3, and recently some rumors have been floating around that they might be interested in trading back in the draft. Notable teams to look out for trading up to number 3 are the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs. Regardless of whether they trade the pick or not, whoever the Jets pass on at number 2 is expected to go at number 3. Now pick number 4 is where things can get really fun. Tennessee holds this pick with arguably the hardest decision yet. They can add to their running back room, which has been decent, by taking arguably the best talent in the draft in Jeremiah Love to help assist their young quarterback Cam Ward. Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate is also on the board here, which is another option to help out Ward on the outside. Defensively, though, you can't get anyone more talented than Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles. The Titans are entering the season with first-year head coach Robert Saleh, who was previously the defensive coordinator in San Francisco and has helped make Fred Warner become one of the best linebackers in the league. Regardless, whatever direction Tennessee goes with will alter the remainder of the draft tremendously. Now I wanted to take a quick look at how I think the top 10 picks will play out. With no questions that needed to be asked, Las Vegas will take Mendoza, everybody knows that one. And then I believe that New York will bank on the potential with Arvell Reese as they are going to focus their sights on 2027. I also really think that Kansas City will trade up to number 3 with Arizona to get arguably the best edge in the class in David Bailey. Tennessee will then take Jeremiah Love at 4 over Carnell Tate and Sonny Styles, which would then let the Giants take Carnell Tate to go alongside Neighbors and give Jackson Dart another weapon, after they just lost Wan'Dale Robinson just last season. Another top 10 trade would be Dallas into the top 6 after they trade with Cleveland, and they will take Sonny Styles to get their defensive captain of the future. Washington will take Francis Mauigoa to protect Jaden Daniels after his injury history last season, and then New Orleans will take edge rusher Reuben Bain Jr. from Miami at number 8. I believe Arizona will take Monroe Freeling, an offensive tackle from Georgia, to start working on the offensive line a little bit early in the draft, and then Cincinnati will land their dream player in Caleb Downs to help out the secondary that has struggled over the past couple of years. That's all I've got on this year's NFL Draft. Tune in next week to see how it all plays out. Now over to Josie, who is back with this week's weather report.
Thanks, Brandon. And it's been warm outside and it's going to stay warm outside. And later tonight, we're going to see a chance for some thunderstorms after a cold front sweeps through the area. And behind that cold front, we're going to see much cooler temperatures tomorrow, but then we're going to rebound quite nicely after that. But temperatures right now, fairly warm, 74 degrees, dew point at 66, so it is pretty humid outside right now. We have a southwest wind at 23 miles per hour, gusting up to 41. And this morning it was very warm. Since we're just so moist, we're seeing not a lot of variability in temperature. This morning we were very warm. Outside in Emporia right now, we got a nice cloudy sky. We're looking very green, very vibrant. It is looking like spring now, as well in Topeka, a mostly cloudy sky. But these are high clouds. Later this afternoon, we're going to see some low, thick clouds. So temperatures right now ranging from 74 to 75. Like I said, a lot of moisture in the area, 74 in Lawrence, Ottawa, and in Topeka we have a temperature of 75, as well as Leavenworth and Kansas City. Again, we've had the southwest breeze bringing lots of moisture in the region. It's feeling a little bit sticky outside, and as the day continues, we're going to see strong breezes out of the southwest turning to the west and then to the northwest as this cold front sweeps through. A high of 80 today, staying breezy, and then 5 p.m. we see our first chance for some thunderstorms develop. It all depends on how far west and east these storms start to fire up. We're going to see a line of the cold front line in just a moment, and that's where these storms are going to fire up, and more dramatic, severe thunderstorms are going to be to the east, but a dramatic temperature decrease. 3 o'clock to 5, we're seeing an 11-degree difference. So that's exciting. And here's this cold front I'm talking about as it sweeps through the area, and that's exactly where these storms are going to be firing up. And again, it's going to become more severe as it continues off into the east. So if you're the western counties, maybe not as severe, but if you're to the east, expect strong winds. If a supercell comes out of this, we can expect some tornadoes maybe, and some strong hail as well, just depending on how strong these supercells get. Tomorrow, though, temperature of 60 degrees, so slightly cooler than today, UV of 7, but we're staying breezy. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 33, but we should be clearing out from that system tonight, and we should be sunny tomorrow. But temperature tomorrow morning, 42, so slightly cooler than last night's high. And temperatures after that rebound quite nicely, 70 degrees. 73 on Sunday, sunny on Monday with a high of 75. Tuesday, 78, almost reaching into the 80s. And on Wednesday, partly cloudy, 75. And then we see another rain chance developing on next Thursday. That's all I have for you guys. Over to Lexi.
Thank you, Josie. I'm definitely looking forward to this rain and a little break from the heat. Before we sign off, we want to give a huge thank you to Grace and Emily for joining us today and sharing some insight. We wish you both a happy graduation and the best of luck. Be sure to stay tuned for Playmakers at 12, where they will go more in depth on the NHL playoffs, update us on some recent changes in KU sports, and more. As one final reminder, we have 2 shows left, so make sure you tune in before we officially head to summer break. That's all I have for you today. Have a great weekend, everyone, and rock chalk.